Hi, Sandy here. I've finally started working on this scrapbook with the black pages that I've had for quite a while. I'm filling up the pages. We'll get back to that. My room is kind of a mess. I've got my small embellishments that I stick on pieces of paper. It's getting pretty, a lot of my pages are getting pretty thin, and I need to reorganize and condense it a little bit. So I've got that handy. I've got my paper trimmer handy. I've got this handy. I've got my tickets here. I got a collection of postage here, and a lot of it is stuff that I printed and cut out. I like to add those for things. I got my hearts and stars and just some tiny things that I've got in this box to keep handy. I've organized a lot of my cutout stuff. This is my Victorian book. It's a mess. This is my people book. I'm not using that much because that's not Victorian people. I keep my Victorian people in this one. I'm doing the book Victorian, by the way. I've got this. I cut up some scrapbook paper that had all of this on it, and it's pretty cool. So I've got that handy. Back in there. Get back in there. I've got a stack of paper here. A lot of it is vintage looking that I can fill in some spaces. I found this in my scrapbook paper, and I need to cut that apart. I'm not going to use it like that. I need to cut it apart into stamps. I've got this book, which is Victorian houses. I just have a small section of Victorian houses. I love my Victorian houses. But interesting architecture and things, and I like landscaping, using pictures of landscaping in my on my pages. Flowers. I use a lot of flowers, so I save all of that. So this is basically outdoor stuff: flowers, buildings, landscapes. And then I got this is my animals book. I've got butterflies and lots of birds and things like that in there. So I've got, and this just stays on my table for days on end, but I keep walking over here. Well, then I've done a few pages, and I've put them on paper over here, so I don't have to be searching while I'm doing my video. So I've got all the stuff ready to go, and so I'm going to put up my camera on my stand, so I'll be right back. Okay, so this is my book, and it's got these black pages. This is the second one I've done, and I'm doing a Victorian style. That's my favorite to do. I do lots of different themes, and I keep looking for more of these at thrift shops and places. Although I haven't been thrift shopping much lately. I have plenty of paper stuff, but I'm gonna buy whenever I find these, unless I just plain don't like the cover. I like the vintage theme. But I'm going to buy these whenever I see them now. So I've done this page. I printed this off of Pinterest. It's so cute. It's a little girl with a Victorian stroller and her doll. Do you have a little fairy? Have a little fairy in your home. We mean fairy soap, of course. This is a magazine page. It's got a cherub and a pot that's been decorated and some flowers. And then I had this, it goes with that. And then this is I printed a page of these little things, and I cut them out with my fancy scissors to make them look like stamps. So, and the stamps and postage are very popular things to decorate your pages with. And I don't care if they're printed or they're real. It don't make any difference to me. Because once they're glued on the page, who can really tell? This is a tag that I had printed it a long time ago, and I stuck it on a piece of off-white paper and trimmed around it for a border, and then I used my distress ink and made it look older. And then I just added a few little things here. I'm trying to use up a lot of my hearts and stuff. And this is a drawing of a gazebo and just some print paper. And then this page, this I printed off of Pinterest. I really love printing stuff off Pinterest, but I try not to do it too much because ink is so expensive. Here's a bird from a magazine and a house from a magazine. And I just embellished it with various things. This is from, I think, Graphic 45 scrapbooking paper. I get that from Scrapbooking for Less. And they're usually 65 cents for a 12 by 12 sheet, and then there's a lot of different things you can cut out. Then I got this page. This is out of the Victorian decorating magazine. I had a big stack of them back in the 90s, and I've just sat on them all these years, and I've only been glue booking for not quite 2 years. And so I've cut up a lot of them, and I'm going to cut up more. I try not to cut them all up because you saw my big pile of stuff over there. I don't want to get buried. And then I recently found the Tim Holtz ephemera pack of all these people, and I've been seeing that a lot on my Facebook page in the groups that I'm in for glue books. So I got those. This I printed from Pinterest. This is out of a magazine. This is from a piece of scrapbook paper that had like 6 of these images on it, the different ones, and it's very Victorian style to me. And then I found this calendar at a garage sale, and I've seen these before, and I just love these houses. I don't know who the artist is, but they're just beautiful. And most of the time I make 8.5 by 11 loose pages and bind them together. But since I've got this book and the previous one I did, I've been using these because I just couldn't bring myself to cut it down to 8.5 by 11 and lose a lot of it. I did have to trim off a little off the top, that's just sky, and a little off the bottom to make it fit. Not very much, so I didn't have to lose very much. And this is from some Victorian calendars that I had bought at a garage sale. It was like a collage on every page, and this is a border that from where I had trimmed it down to fit a page, and this is what I had left. So I saved those and try to use them. This is the Tim Holtz people. And this, I've got several of these. I've had these for years. And so I'm just throw stuff on there. Here's a very old key that I printed, and a bird sticker and a butterfly. And then this is a magazine page. I didn't glue anything on it except what you see on the edge. It's just a collage of pretty things, lacy paper lace cards and stuff. And here's some pretty purple flowers with some bath things. And this is also, I get that from the scrapbook paper. There was like 6 of these on a page. And then I added the sticker with the stamps. And this I printed off Pinterest. And then this, I try to use something large on my page and then fill in the rest. When I got the calendars, I actually bought like 6 or 8, I don't know how many calendars from different years. So they were all different. And then there was also a couple of smaller ones that came with the... And so I've got a lot of smaller pages too that I'm trying to get used up. And this I printed off Pinterest. This was on scrapbook paper that I cut up. Here's another one of tags that I kind of made. This is just some ephemera that I'm trying to use up. Here's a bird out of a magazine. This was a picture of flowers, and I had cut out this bird. Birds and Blooms is a really good magazine if you find it at a thrift shop. And you like to use birds in your stuff, because you get tired of flowers and butterflies, throw in some birds too. But Birds and Blooms is really good. So that's where I get a lot of my flower and birds. So now we're ready to do another page, and to save time, like I said, I pre-gathered some stuff. And here's a magazine page. I trimmed it down a little bit. So that goes here. And then I've got this tablescape of antiques, and it's going to go here, and it can overlap. Overlapping is good. And then I've got this. I printed that. That's so pretty, and it was already dark. I didn't have to ink it or anything. Then I've got this, another one of those tags that I created. Well, I printed it. I added the word live and put it on some pink paper, and so that's going to go there, and that's going to go there. And then I've got this piece of scrapbook paper with newsprint on it and stamped keys. I didn't make it, but so that's going to go there. And then I've got this. This was a piece of scrapbook paper with a whole bunch of perfume bottles and things like that. And I'm just going to put that right there. And then I've got this. I cut that out of, I think that was the packaging. I don't know. That's off my Victorian calendars. So I'm going to put that there. And then I got a little bit of black space showing here from the background, so that's going to go there. Okay, now I'm ready to start gluing. So I'm going to start with this one because things are going to overlap that. You got to kind of figure out your right order so that things will overlap the way you want them to. And you use whatever kind of glue that you feel comfortable with. I use glue sticks. Yes, sometimes things peel up. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with them because they're very, very economical. And I buy them in bulk. I order I order sometimes 3 boxes at a time from Walmart. 3 boxes of 60. And that makes them about a quarter a piece. I used to buy them at school supply time, and they were still like a quarter a piece on sale at school supply time. But then you clean up their, they need their stock for the school supplies, not you cleaning off their shelf, although if you need it, buy it. So, I'm just jabbering away. Okay, we got that on. And next I want to put this on. I haven't made a video in over a week. I've been tired. I've been going to bed early. At work, we've had snow the entire month of February and more this month. It's March now. We just keep getting more and more snow. So at work, I'm the janitor. I'm the custodian, and that salt gets tracked in, and not just the loose salt, the wet salt on people's shoes, tracked in and leaving little white puddles all over the floor to dry. And you got to use some extra elbow grease to get that up, and I just mop and mop and mop and mop and clean and sweep it, and it just adds a lot to my day, and I'm worn out. I'm going to be 60 in a couple of months. Like 3 months. I want to retire so bad. So this is what I want to do when I retire. I want to play. Hope that wasn't out of range. I think it was. But you can see it now. Okay, this I was a little bit wider. I trimmed it down so it doesn't cover up as much. I trimmed it a little off the top, and then I tore the bottom just to make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so that goes there. There's my little purple thing to cover up this. Well, I didn't end up with a black spot. Well, it's black from the magazine page, not black from the black background. I'm so glad to use this up. I got a few more to use, and I'm gonna do it. Okay. I think it takes me more time to gather up the pieces than it does to glue them on. I'm sure it does. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. I end up with a piece of paper on the back a lot of times because I just use a speck of glue like that and stick it onto a page. And then I can peel it off and use it when I'm ready. That's what you saw over there on my table. Okay. That page is done. I might go through later and add some embellishments. In fact, I'm going to grab this right now. Don't even know what that is. And it's nice to overlap things. This makes things more interesting. I'll put that right there. I'm going to grab some postage. I've got a lot of postage. Now this looks like a real stamp, but I printed it off Pinterest and cut it with my fancy scissors. It's not a real postage at all. It's printed on paper. Okay. I like things to kind of overlap. I love this. I love that right there. Okay. You got to know when to quit. Well, you don't know. You can add just a couple of things on the page, or you can add a whole lot to the page. I like to. It's entirely up to you. There's no rules. Whatever makes you happy. Okay. I'm going to have to put my glue thing on this so that I can get the page centered. Okay. Now for the next stuff. I've got this. You know what? I'm going to do this on this next. I'm going to do, because this has this little flap right here. You probably can't see it. And I wanted this to get tucked under that flap. So I don't want to cut it off, but to make it fit right, I want it tucked under there. You'll see when I do that one. So I'm going to do that one after I do another page. So you're probably looking at the top of my head. Okay. So this is out of a calendar. I like to do. This is the first thing I grabbed. I'm trying to use up these landscapes. Then I cut out this bird, and he's going to go right there. And then this is a Victorian calendar page, and these are dogs dressed up like sailors. So that's going to go there. I think I missed a page. Oh, I did. Okay. Okay, and then I got this room. It's not really Victorian, but it's timeless. And I'm going to put that over here, and it's going to overlap some of that landscape, and that's okay. And then I've got this old reproduction postcard. And some of these postcards came with those calendars too. That was one of the greatest deals I ever found at a garage sale, I'm telling you. I got some great stuff. And then I've got, this is out of a page out of a book. So I'm going to put that there. And then this is a little piece of a map. And I'm going to put that at the bottom because it doesn't quite fill my page. And then I've got this old picture of a boat, and I'm going to put that here. And then I've got this sticker that says Bon Voyage, I'm going to put there. Then I've got this little anchor tag that I'm going to put on there. So that's this page. So time to start gluing. So I've discovered a new guy on YouTube I've been watching. and I don't usually get that excited about a YouTube page, and it's not crafting or anything. He lives in Canada, and it's called Curiosity Incorporated. He's a young man. I would say he's late 30s, early 40s. He's married with 3 kids. Lives in Canada, and he opened an antique store, and so it's about his life. He videotapes all kinds of stuff. He goes and visits junkyards and stuff, and he's really into cars and stuff, and a lot of other things. He loves old vintage tin signs. I think he's got, and things like that. But I kept seeing on YouTube suggested videos for you, and it's like it said I bought a hoarder house, and for several days I just ignored it, you know. And then one day, I don't know, I think I was watching videos and it just came up automatically, and the guy owns a vintage ambulance that's painted up to look like the Ghostbusters car. It's white, and it's got the Ghostbusters emblem on the side, the door, and it's got Curiosity Incorporated on the above the door. There's a high spot there because it's an ambulance. But he lives in Canada. He went like 3 hours away from his home to visit this house that was a hoarder house. And the woman was, I think she's 104. She's been in a nursing home for 10 years. There's parts of her house where she hadn't even been into in over 30 years before she had to move out. And she's not a trashy hoarder, although he did throw away a lot of stuff. But she had a lot of cool, really cool stuff. I have to curl this a little bit because it's going to wrap around this page. So first off, he was walking through the house with her children, and her very grown children. She's 104, and digging through boxes and saying, "Oh, that's cool, and that's cool." And then halfway through the video, and it was night time when he was going through there, and he was going to come back the next day and have another look-see, and in the daytime, and pick out what he wanted. Well, then he had an idea. He's going to buy this hoarder house. So he did, because they were going to literally tear it down. They didn't want to deal with the mess, and so he bought it directly from the owners, and cash deal, and in 2 weekends he had that place cleaned up, and it's just fascinating. It's just fascinating. And now he's starting to refurbish the house a little bit, and he's got a shoestring budget. And she left behind an old gas stove, not a real fancy one, but it's pretty vintage. So that's going to be used in the kitchen. She left behind 2 kitchen sinks. One is the old-fashioned kind with the built-in drain board, the porcelain, and boy, this is not sticking very well. But and it was on a metal cabinet, a vintage old metal cabinet. He said he's either going to use that one, or there was one that was left outside, and it's a farmhouse sink with the apron on it. And they ended up digging that out of the yard, and we're having a heck of a winter here, and they're having the same. Lots of snow and stuff. It's been cold and everything. So this sink was buried in the yard. Well, it was just laying on top of the yard, but it had been sitting there for years. So it was a few inches buried underground, and the ground is frozen solid. They thought they'd just be a few minutes digging it out of the yard, and it turned out to be a couple of hours ordeal. So they're building this kitchen around a lot of these Victorian stuff. Oh, and then it actually had 2 kitchens. They added on and had a second kitchen, and he's working on the second kitchen. But the first kitchen he's turning into a mud room / laundry room, and he found a wringer washer down in the basement that probably hadn't been plugged in for 40 years, and he plugged it in and it worked. He had to wait a while to turn on the heat because everything was blocking the vents and stuff, and then he had to get it worked on to get it working. Apparently the furnace wasn't really very old, not used much, so that's okay. So he got the furnace going, so he finally got the heat. But the first couple of weekends he was working in the cold. This needs a little bit more. I think I'm way off the camera. So I found this little postcard sticker. I'm going to let it overlap and put it right there. This is bothering me. I'm going to try liquid glue. Don't really care for liquid glue because it wrinkles my pages. But I got this Eileen's tacky glue, turbo tacky glue, and it's pretty thick, so I hope it's not going to be too much of a mess. And I just got glue on my finger. These are old Huggies. I guess they are slightly damp. I've already added water to them a few times. Okay. Okay, so there's that page. A lot of blue in that page. I like it. I might, like I said, I think I will. I'm going to add more. I'm just flipping through here and grabbing any old thing. I've got this. Oh, what else? What else? What else? Oh, I don't know. Got a tree. Okay. I hope this sticks. Alright, now my glue mat is getting all glued up. So I'm cleaning it off. This is a cutting board from Dollar Tree, and there's 2 in a package. So this is a 50-cent cutting board, and for years I was using newspaper for, I don't want glue all over my tabletop, although I could scrape it off of there too, but I can easily pick up the mess and get it out of my way, like if it's on something like this. Okay, now on to this next page. So I've got this. Look at these pretty ladies. I printed this off of Pinterest. Also, I joined a group on Facebook called something about free images. People post images there. This I downloaded from Pinterest. I did a glue book on Anne of Green Gables. This is the Anne of Green Gables house from the movie. And I downloaded a lot of stuff, and I ordered a book, with a children's picture book of her, and on every page I had something with Anne of Green Gables mixed in with a lot of Victorian stuff, so that's going to go there. I've got this, just a picture of flowers. I try to mix in kind of some newer stuff, timeless stuff, with my older stuff, so I don't use up all of my Victorian stuff too fast. This is some beautiful Victorian paper that my friend Teresa gave me. It's just beautiful. So I've been cutting that up and using scraps here and there. This was on some scrapbook paper. It was a bunch of different patterns. Looks like some vintage paper. So I'm going to put that here. And then I just tore this little piece of paper to fill in the blank space up here. And then I've got this just vase of flowers in a milk glass vase. Then it's going to go here. Add a butterfly there. I've got this picture that I cut out of a magazine. I like to glue small things onto colored scraps and then cut them out with decorative scissors, and just for a little colored margin. And then I've got just some little things like this. So here we go. I'm ready to start gluing. I'm going to start with this picture. And I just remembered my brother lives with me. He got some photos. He just put in an order of photos. So he's going to be wanting to do some scrapbooking pretty soon. I scrapbook all of his pictures for him and stuff. Okay, next I'm ready for this. One thing about this, it's hard to see the edge of this paper, this black paper, because it's stacked on other pieces of black paper. I don't want it hanging off the edge. Okay. I'll glue down my flowers. But this guy's YouTube channel, I think I noticed he had like 50,000 subscribers, and then his YouTube just exploded. And he's got like 192,000 right now. YouTube just sent him a plaque for having over 100,000, and he's close to getting over 200,000 just in no time at all. People are just fascinated watching him, and he's such a sweet guy. This woman with the hoarder house that he bought the house from, he has not said one unkind thing about her. He's just so nice, you know. He's just, and it turns out that she is a famous pottery, and her pieces sell for, of course she's 104 now, this is old news, but her pieces sell for I think he said $5,000 to $8,000, and she's had them displayed in museums and stuff, and now she's in a nursing home at 104. But he actually went to visit her and talk with her, and he said he didn't want to talk about the house because he knows it got away from her, and he's very nice about it, and he wanted to talk about her, and he's just treating her with such respect, and he's so nice. Okay, see, this is the one I wanted to go underneath of this edge a little bit at least. Oh, that's pretty crooked. I'm going to leave it. Okay. There was also a vase of flowers on the other side. It was not shaped like that, but that kind of turned out pretty good. But this is the side I'm using, the pink side, because I like the milk glass vase. The other side was more like a pot. But it looks like a vase the way I cut it out in the vase shape. Okay. So, go. And this is how I planned this. I wanted things to overlap. Oh, I missed a spot. Darn it. One thing about glue sticks, they are a little bit forgiving. You do have a little bit of time to reposition things. Okay, now I've got this. So I'm going to put there. Since this is plain, I think I'll tuck it right there. I've got this pink arrow on here, and I think I want to, it's not writing very well. I want to highlight it so it'll stand out. This is not very bright. Yeah, that's bright enough. I think this marker's getting old. Alright, now we can see that arrow better. Okay. And now this thing. I just like these little clusters. And now my stamp. There. I like that. And last thing is a butterfly. Okay. That's done. This thing, oh. And on to the next one. How did I have this arranged? Okay, I think I got this. I bought a booklet at the thrift shop, and it had this castle in it, and this is one of the outbuildings of the castle, and it had some Victorian, or not Victorian, this is really much older than Victorian, but it was like a travel brochure for that, for visitors for that castle. Okay, so I got this, and then I've got this like garden party outside that goes here. And I've had these for a while, and I'm going to use them up. So I got this pair of shoes, and this pair of shoes. I think it goes good with that. Then I've got this tag, and I've got this, and this. Off some scrapbook paper. There's some vintage writing. I wanted that at an angle. And then I've got this bird cage. And where was I going to put this? I don't remember. I think I was going to put it there. Doesn't matter a lot. And then I've got this. So we'll get this glued together. I'm going to start with this castle thing. See, this is a lot of information about that castle. I hope that's centered enough to see. Oh no, I was going to do that on the other side. Okay, I'm going to get this down and then I'll shift my book over. Okay. I'm going to glue this down next, my little garden party. Well, I've had my channel for, oh, I don't know, a year and a half now, not quite 2 years. And I just reached 300 subscribers yesterday, and then I lost one. I'm down to 299. So subscribe to my channel, please. I want to reach that 300 mark and stay there. Usually it fluctuates. I'll gain a follower and then lose a follower and gain a follower. But it's taken me a year and a half to get 300 followers. But I don't even know why I have a channel. I don't know. Just something to do. There's another glue stick used up. I like to save them in this can for each project. I've already used 3 glue sticks in this project. I don't like how I have to wrap it around there, because then I have problems later. But I think this is sticking okay. Okay, I glue down my tag. Okay, next will be, I forgot to add some little embellishments other than this. I think after I finish these pages, I got one more that I have the stuff collected for. I think after I do that, I'm going to go through my small embellishments and condense them down, because, I don't know, it just works better. I feel like I'm going through too many pieces of paper finding embellishments. Okay, now this is going to go here. I got words here, and I want to get that covered up. This had an angle. This, okay, so this needs to go down first because things are going to overlap it. Now, these ladies are not really Victorian. I think they're from much earlier time, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll use them anyway. It goes better with the castle because that's from a much earlier time. Okay, now I got my bird cage. I bought a couple of pieces of scrapbook paper from Scrapbooking for Less, and it was covered in these bird cages, which were not overlapping, so then I cut them out to use as embellishments. I'm always looking for ways to have a lot of things, get a lot of bang for my money, and a page full of embellishments that you can cut out is quite a bargain. So I got the whole page for like 60 cents because I think they're $1.20 a page for 2 pages. $1.20 for 2 pages, so 60 cents each for a whole page of embellishments. That's a bargain compared to a page of stickers. Alright, I don't know where. Right there. Don't even think about it. Okay, that page is done. I'm not happy with this sticker. Well, it's coming up. I'm not happy the way it's overlapping this so much, but that's alright. Okay. Well, I've got my postage here. I hope you were able to see that. I'm going to add this stamp, and it's Doesn't quite fit in the times, but I don't care. There. Okay, now we'll shift it over this way, get that under the calendar. And my last page that I have set up, I've got this bed. Then I've got this piece of scrapbook paper that looks like a map, just to fill in that gap down there. I've got this. This is graphic 45. And then I've got this. I was going to put it up here, but I don't know why I changed my mind. These should come down, but the flower's upside down, so I turned it this way. So that goes there, and this is going to overlap it. I think because the overlapping was going to cover up this nice part. Then I've got this that I cut out of my Holly Hobby calendar, and that's going to go there. And then I've got this, it's like a playing card, a very vintage looking playing card, that goes there. And then this will go here, and that goes there. I got a little bit of black showing here, so that goes there. Oh, and I was going to put this up here. Then I've got these 3 vintage perfume bottles off of a piece of scrapbook page. And they're going to go across there. So time to get gluing. This will be my last page. I think this book has like 30 black sheets in it. So that'll be like 60 pages after I cover both sides. Going to use up a lot of my supplies, but I just never run out. There's always more. I can do another book. And I do have a few more magazines that I can cut up, but I'm not doing them yet because I don't want to get buried in stuff. So there's no end to it yet. Okay. A little bit of map scrapbook paper. I think I had like 7 pages done before, and now adding 5 more would be like a dozen pages I've got done now. About 60 pages. So I still got like 48 to go, but that's fine. That's okay. I added this sticker on here of a vintage telephone. Oh, come on, get out of there. Get out of there. Okay. I'm going to move this off to the side because it's getting in my way. Okay. I think I'll put the playing card back on first, and then that can overlap it if it needs to. Let me see. I think I wanted it down here. Okay, that goes there. Then I've got this. I'm going to cover up that black space up there. And my perfume bottles. Then I've got this. This is Tim Holtz. I got a package of ephemera. There was like over 100 pieces, and some of them were very tiny. But sometimes you got sometimes you got to go by the size of things and how they fit on the page. I think I'll angle that a little bit there. I got this. I think I had that here. I don't know. My greeting card's getting kind of covered up. I wonder if it's too late for me to reposition that. I wanted to cover up this spot where it blends there. And then this, I used my old Sizzix and cut this out of a songbook page. Okay, I think that's done, and I think that's enough for now. So thanks for watching, and subscribe to my channel. Help me get over 300 subscribers. Not that it makes any difference, but thanks for watching. Bye bye.